Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. This insightful saying by Leo Tolstoy is a valuable reminder for all of us to reflect inwardly. The renowned 19th century Russian author suggested that we ask ourselves what God really wants us to do. As Leo Tolstoy said, "In the name of God, stop a moment, cease your work, look around you." A novel by Tolstoy is not a work of art, but a piece of life, stated Matthew Arnold, a 19th century British poet and critic. In addition to his renowned epic novels, Leo Tolstoy wrote essays and letters that conveyed the spiritual truths he came to realize in life. Along with adopting and promoting the vegetarian diet, he became deeply interested in spirituality and living by the ethical teachings of Christ. The concepts he conveyed through his writings about peace and the fulfillment of God's will greatly influenced 20th century leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Supreme Master Ching Hai once spoke of Tolstoy in a group meditation session with our association members in July 1997 in Los Angeles, USA.
Tolstoy was a practitioner, That's why when you read his story, almost a story about spirituality, about God, and very happy, very positive. It's very good to read him, to read his book. You try it. If you haven't, you try. You can read more, Such thing is very good for you.
We would like to share an insightful excerpt from Volume 1, Love from the Pathway of Life, a collection of Tolstoy's philosophies on religion, life, death, and more. Love. The soul of man, being separated by the body from God and from the souls of other creatures, strives to unite with that from which it is separated. The soul unites with God through a constantly growing consciousness of God within, and with the souls of other creatures through a constantly growing manifestation of love. Love unites man with God and with other creatures. Lord Jesus said to the lawyer, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind." This is the first and the great commandment. And the second is like unto it, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." Thus spoke the lawyer to Christ, and Jesus said, "Thou hast answered right. This do, that is, love God and thy neighbor, and thou shalt live. Woe unto you, ye men of the world! There is grief and worry over your heads and under your feet, to the right of you and to the left of you, and you are a mystery unto yourselves. And such mysteries will ye remain unless ye become happy and loving as the children. Only then shall ye know me, and knowing me ye shall know yourselves, and only then shall ye rule yourselves. And only then, as ye look out of your soul into the world, all things will be a blessing to you, in the world and within your own selves. Only perfection can be loved. Therefore, in order to love, one of two things is required: either to count that perfect which is imperfect, or to love perfection that is God. If we count that perfect which is imperfect, sooner or later the error will be revealed, and the love will cease. But the love of God, that is of perfection, cannot cease. God is love. He who dwells in love dwells in God, and God dwells in him. No man has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God dwells in us, and his love is perfected in us. If a man says, I love God, and hates his brother, he is a liar. For he that loves not his brother, whom he has seen, how can he love God, whom he hasn't seen? Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone that loves is born of God, and knows God, for God is love. Man can unite truly only in God. In order to unite, man need not walk towards one another, but all must go in the direction of God. If there were an immense temple in which the light entered only in the center from above, then in order to meet in that temple, all men would have to go towards the light in the center thereof. Even so in the world, let all men walk in the direction of God, and eventually they will all meet. Beloved, let us love one another. Love is of God, and he that loves is born of God and knows God. He that loves not knows not God, for God is love, said John the Apostle. To love all men seems difficult, but all things are difficult until you learn how to do them. Man can learn anything: to sow, to weave, to till the soil, to mow, to forge iron, to read and to write. Even so, they must learn how to love all people. And to learn to do this is not difficult, because loving one another has been ingrained in our hearts. No man has ever seen God, but if we love one another, he dwells in us. And if God is love and dwells in us, it is not difficult to learn to love. We must only strive to be delivered from that which hinders love, to be delivered from that which prevents its outward manifestation. And if you only make a start, you will soon attain the most important and necessary of all sciences: how to love people. There is nothing more joyful than the knowledge that people love us. But curiously enough, in order that people might love us, we need not strive to please them, but only to draw nearer to God. Draw nigh to God, give no thought to people, and the people will love you. Do not ask God to unite you. He has made you one already by placing His one and the same Spirit in you all. Only cast off the things which divide you, and you will be one. Man imagines that he wills his own good, but this is only seemingly so. It is the indwelling God who wills his good, and God wills the good of all men. He who says that he loves God and loves not his neighbor deceives the people, and he who says that he loves his neighbor and does not love God deceives himself. It is said, we must fear God. This is untrue. We must love God, not fear Him. You cannot love what you fear, and besides, you cannot fear God because God is love. How can we fear love? Do not fear God, but be conscious of Him within yourself. And if you are conscious of God within, you will fear nothing in the world. Some say that the last day will be the day of judgment, and that the God of goodness will be a God of wrath. Yet from a God of blessings, nothing can come but what is good. Whatever faiths there be, there is only one true faith, that God is love. And from love nothing can come but good. Do not fear whether in this life or after it, nothing can be, nothing will be but good. To live a godly life is to be like unto God. To be like unto God, you must fear nothing and desire nothing for self. In order to fear nothing and desire nothing for self, you need only love. Some say, look within, and you will have peace. This is not the entire truth. Others say, come out of self, strive to forget self, and seek happiness and pleasures. This also is untrue. This is untrue if alone for the reason that pleasures will not eliminate disease. Peace and happiness are neither within us nor outside of us, but are in God, and God is both within us and outside of us. Love God, and you will find in God that which you seek. Cheerful viewers, thank you for joining us for today's Words of Wisdom.